one of the demands that these people, the Khalistani groups that are there in North America or Europe, is also that they focus primarily on India, but they don't really speak about what happens to Sikhs in say places like Afghanistan or even Pakistan, for that matter, where they've been persecuted over the years. Now, if they talk about a separate state for the Sikhs, there is never a conversation about the part in Pakistan, right? It's mostly India focused. Is this also because this essentially maybe a pointer from the Pakistani playbook?
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, I did, as I said, touch base with these think tanks which look at it, and I did get these inputs from them. And I think they had very succinctly divided that there are three distinct periods that you see. The politics of Sikh home rule movement from 60s to 78 was the first period. Terrorist movement for Khalistan from 78 to 1993 when it came down. And the politics of grievance from 1984 to present. So in the first period, you saw the rise of a small group of Sikh separatists in United Kingdom and the United States. There were minor pawns in the terrorist network of Sikh militants, but to a certain extent were financed by Pakistan and the ISI. And between them and the superpowers and the games that were being played in the Indian subcontinent, these people were propped up, and they actually became the anchors for supporting the initial stages of the movement in India. And as I said, that was the period when you had the Reorganization Act, and you had the chaos that happened between the Damdami Takht and the people, the Nirankaris and the Amritdharis. So that was the period where this whole was, it sort of got over when the clash finally happened in 78. So it was a simmering movement which continued, looked at developing underground workers, created a psychological mindset. And it was subsequently, I would say, the second period where you saw active involvement of some of these superpowers and int agencies, primarily, I don't say superpowers, but I would say people with inimical interest and who had always been in India. It was basically the UK and the US diaspora which sort of looked at it. And these were supported. And the third period has actually seen a decline, which is the current period that we are seeing starting off post the 93s, where I think a new strategy has been evolved by most of them. And this is why you find this justice and human rights is an issue which they keep talking about. And as you correctly stated, this is the place where they only talk of selectively. They talk about the chaos which doesn't exist, but amplify 2-3 incidents, whether it was in J&K or it's in Punjab, to show that minorities, or say the CAA card being played. Whereas the subjugation of that many millions of Muslims in another country is not being talked about in China. The kind of disparity that exists in the USA between the blacks and the whites. And today, I think when you see the Russian-Ukraine war, this has come out primarily where white supremacy, racist statements have been made. So, I mean, it's quite crazy. This whole story of justice and human rights is linked to as a beating stick to try and get, I would presume, a part of the greater geopolitical picture that is emerging of how to put pressure on governments. So I would say that is one of the reasons that you find that this whole movement has gone through these various phases.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.